Okay, so comparing David Stern to Adam Silver,
Mm-hmm.
because Adam Silver is largely, I don't know if you want to say marketed or seen by, he's seen as more of a player friendly person versus a David Stern, right?
Right.
When you compare the two, what do you think about Adam Silver versus a David Stern?
Soft.
Adam Silver?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On some punk shit.
Really?
He's the punk version. he's like he's like the feminine version of David Stern.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how it looked when he came in. It was of like, he don't look
Yeah, he looked
stern.
frail.
He don't look stern at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
He looked a little flimsy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like his handshakes are soft and shit. So I ain't like the transition, and then it just popped out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like how Obama came out of nowhere.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, who is this? Adam Silver, where he come from?
Yeah.
Well, he's been grooming for this situation. So the league has become the league it is today based on who they gave it over to. That's why the league is soft. That's why we're seeing reviews. We're seeing a bunch of shit that makes the game watered down.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like it. I don't like the transition. Even to the point to where I was telling her, I said, yo, I don't even know if I want to renew for next year. Because I pay a lot of money for my seats, right?
Yep.
Every single year. But it just seemed, it's almost like the more I know and the more I learn, the more I realize that it seemed like it's just completely marketed and it's rigged.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So with that being said, though, okay, so you get drafted and you played between Minnesota and Sacramento.
Yep.
Were you, knowing what you know now, the different cultures from the different teams, obviously you got the Miami Heat. At the time, you had the Detroit Pistons and all of those different places. And, you know, obviously LA is LA and New York is New York. But playing over there, what was it like?
In Minnesota?
Yeah.
The city was amazing.
You know, I went to Minnesota one time. I thought it was cold here. It's cold. Yo, it's so cold in Minnesota that I didn't realize that the downtown buildings is all connected so that you didn't have to walk outside. That's crazy.
Cold as fuck, boy. What?
That is crazy over there.
Freezing.
But you was over in Minnesota.
From day one.
What was the fans like over there?
We outside, day one. Rookie, drafted, next day, outside. I got my check. I can go spend some bread. I believe, yeah.
What was your, do you remember what your first check was? Like, you remember?
Never looked.
Really?
Never. To this day, I probably don't even know how much money I ever really truly had because I just knew I had money.
Yeah.
I didn't give a fuck. It's like coming from where I come from.
Yeah.
It was like I could just spend. I ain't got to look at it. But I was never an overspender. Like, I'm just going to buy a bunch of shit. It was just like if I needed to go somewhere, I ain't got to look twice.
I was reading that you can structure how you get your paycheck, like whether you want to get it every month, every 2 weeks. Because I read that, and the only reason I got curious about it is because I had read that Kobe got it like one check a year or something like that. You can set it up like that?
You can set it up where you get your check at the end. You can set it up, you get it month to month, week to week, game to game.
Really?
Yep. Yep.
How does the players talk about money in the locker room, and that do they talk about money not just on some stunting type stuff, but do they talk about it on some like, because like your OGs or, you know, I know that, you know, the rookies and everything like that. And of course you got the rookie symposium or whatever. Do they talk to y'all or do they talk about money inside of the locker room as far as the players with each other, or is it all just primarily about basketball?
I mean, I've never been in the locker room where guys are talking about investments or things that they could do together. Never. And even heard of guys even bragging about it. But I think now with the Warriors being like Draymond, Andre, Steph, Clay, Silicon Valley, opportunities, stuff like that. It's different. And I can only say it for that select group because those guys played enough together to take advantage of that market.
For a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
And so outside of them, I don't even see guys doing business at that rate, like the James Hardens and the LeBrons and those type of guys. They do business. But you look at 300 guys in the league and y'all are all not doing no business together.
Yeah, I always was curious about that. Like, is that a conversation that happens in the locker room?
Not as much as you would expect it to be.
Yeah.
Seeing that you got all this money in one place and y'all not doing nothing together. Like LA, there ain't no like player-owned facilities. Guys haven't collaborated and opened up facilities where we can all just go and do our thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that can be done, but I never made the type of money that warrant me to go do things and put things in action. So I've always been the visual creator.
Yeah.
I could draw up the business plan, draw up what the concept looked like. But when you hand it off to a nigga and it's like, yo, check out, and they look at me like, man, you a nigga, you ain't never did nothing business at this level before. But then I go to my white boys and they like, yo, when can we start? When can we start here?
Yeah.
And it's like, as much as we want to uplift our people, we need to get the attention of our people first and entice that side so that we can build.
What do you buy at, how old were you? 20, 21?
21.
What do you buy at 21 years old when you first get money?
First thing I bought was a whip. And then the second thing I bought was a crib for my mom's.
Back home?
Yep. After that, it was, like I said, it's convenience. It wasn't no splurging, wasn't no chains and all that kind of stuff. It was more clothes because I was into having my own. So I went to the custom route. Global Gangsters in Chicago helped me do some fitted custom stuff, and I got into my own branding.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of those things I started to understand early on, like my rookie year, my second year, that if you could establish yourself as an entrepreneur, the league warrants a respect for you because it's a mature sign.
Yeah.
You're maturing early. You understand business. You understand branding. But at the same time, they look at you crazy because you're giving too much information on how to be independent. So
because they want you to be a player. They don't want you to necessarily.
They want you to be a slave first.
Yeah.
The players second. Players come play and make us money, but the slave is understand what we're trying to tell you to do.
Yeah.
And so that you can go out there and do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. So okay, so I got another question. Let me pivot for a minute. This is the question that all of the fellas want to know. I asked my guys that's in my circle. I said, of all of the questions that y'all want to know when I get Rashad in there, what do y'all want to know? They said they want to know about the hoes.
Yeah. The work.
So, okay. So the lifestyle, right? Because I know in certain industries, and I've been around enough people to where in a lot of instances I see some of the same women.
Yep.
All over, no matter what city you go to, you see the same women. They know the parties, they know the events, they know all of that, right?
Yeah.
So when you get drafted and stuff like that, and obviously, y'all traveling city to city, and you got home games and stuff like that. Do they know what hotel y'all gonna be at? Do they know all of that?
Everything. Stats.
Stats? What you mean? They know y'all stats?
Stats.
That's crazy.
They know your stats on top of your stats. They know what jeans size you wear.
They studying y'all like that?
Yeah, Google.
That's crazy, bro.
Google. It's amazing, bro. Like, I always wanted to be on this type of couch talking about the work.
Yeah.
Because the whole red pill phenomenon that's happening with men right now is they're getting all their information from guys that are not in this stratosphere, which is the high value man stratosphere, which means 6'3" and up.
Yep.
6 figures and up.
Yep.
Your fame, fortune, all that stuff. This is what women consider high value now.
Absolutely.
So they're not having conversations with real high value men, the men that the women out there really want.